Or you want to wait a bit?
Door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next session in the development track will be by Bertland, the Delacretaz, senior software developer at Day Software. He'll tell more about why Day Software open source a lot of their code.
That's the other presentation.
And why
Open innovation.
open innovation is open source. Sorry about that.
That's fine. Okay, let's go back to the first slide. Here we go. Welcome. Come in. Okay, so my name is Bertland Delacretaz. I come from the French part of Switzerland, Lausanne actually. Work as a senior developer in R&D at Day Software. We do large scale, I mean, not Amazon large scale, but content management large scale systems. I'll talk a bit more about the company during the talk. Also a member of the Apache Software Foundation, fairly heavily involved in the community aspects of things, incubator, Google Summer of Code, community development. So I'm as much a programmer as fascinated by the community aspects of what we do. My talk is about to do open innovation in software. I think you need to be open source, or it brings lots of benefits, and that's what we're going to discuss. So as I said before, you want to follow along, you can get the slides from. Oops, we have a beamer problem. So it would be good. You can get the slides from the address, except I forgot it. But I can tell it to you because it's a speakable URL, x42.ch/04.20.01. It's a service that I wrote that allows you to shout out URLs in a room, which can be very useful in situations like this one. Nobody's using the service, but that's fine. So Beamer is coming back. That's the joke they do. Yeah, we know Bertrand is used to give talks, so we'll make it a bit harder for him. Switch off the Beamer every 3 minutes. Think it's coming back? Yeah, initializing. It is coming back. Yes. Okay, so you can get it. And I also, as I said, wrote an article on the H Online on the subject. The definition on open innovation is to use external and internal ideas and external and internal path to market to advance your technology to make your product better. Basically, I don't know if you were in my talk yesterday, I said no company is an island today. If you can bring external ideas to your product, that will help make them much better. Open source, I'm going to talk about open source mostly from the Apache point of view because it's the one I know best. I've been active in the foundation for the last 10 years and I don't know the other organizations as well. So I'm not saying that the other foundations or organizations are not good. It's just that I know Apache better. So I'm going to talk from the Apache point of view. We have meritocratic communities in our Apache project. So it's because you need something good that you get some I wouldn't say power, but some role in the foundation. We have open processes. Everything happens in the open at Apache. When you make a decision on a project, it has to be on the public development mailing list. Otherwise, it doesn't count. So there's no way you can sidetrack that. You can have a discussion on the coffee machine, but then you have to bring it back to the development list. We have open code, obviously. That's the basic starting point of open source. And we do a lot of crowdsourcing. When you do an Apache project, you are expecting people to tell you about the bugs they encounter, and you're trying to take advantage of your users to contribute to your project, not just do that in a small circle of specialists or geeks. So we're trying to compare open innovation and open source. What can open source bring to open innovation? Innovation starts with ideas. I don't know about you, I tend to have lots of ideas. Usually it's when I wake up, if I can stay 10 minutes in bed, that's when it's done. So, oh, I can do that, I can do that. Let's do this new module. Let's re-engineer our system completely, and let's make it more fun. And creative people tend to have, in my opinion, way too much ideas. And then it's finding the needle in this haystack, you know. You have tons of ideas, but how do you find a good one that will bring your product forward? It's even harder when you're doing software development. Good programmers tend to be fairly opinionated. It often goes together that they have the ideas. Oh no, we should rewrite our software in Python. And no, but I think Visual Basic is much better. Okay, that's maybe not today anymore. There's strong opinions that we need to get together. So that's also another haystack that you need to fix and find out what's going on. And I think that what makes a difference is the feedback. You have these ideas going in all directions, which is the right one. It's the feedback that will tell you that. If, as a programmer, you can have the end user looking over your shoulder and saying, it's not going to work, it's not what I like to have in my system, it would be the best feedback loop. It cannot work today because the end user is often not able to read your code. But you would like to make this feedback loop the fastest possible. If you have to wait 6 months, in the old times, the manager told you to do some module in your software, then you did it, then they distributed it to the customer, then the customer used it, and 6 months later they come back, say, hey, this code that you write on 12 February is crap. Okay, 12 February, oh, what was I doing? Since then I've been working on 5 different projects, you totally forgot what you were doing, and it's very inefficient. Trying to, speed up this feedback loop, if you're doing mountain biking or BMX or driving this kind of bike, God forbid, or I don't know if you saw people doing this kind of stone sculptures, and it's incredibly amazing. When you're putting that together, the feedback that you get from your fingers must be very fast and precise. So in many situations, we need fast feedback. Makes all the difference. Just try driving if you're a bit drunk, and slows down your reflexes, and your driving doesn't work anymore. So the key, in my opinion, is to have this fast feedback to drive our innovation, our software development. Let's pretend for a bit we're a toy maker. This is going to be, you heard from this company already a few times in this conference, but I think it's a good example. And we'd like to do a toy that's good for all ages, a toy that's creative. You don't want people to use your toy in the way the manual says, but be open to do something different. A toy that's durable, that people could use all their life maybe, that creates a relationship with your customers, because that brings good business and it's fun. So that's our blueprint for a toy, and you probably guessed it, Lego is a perfect example of that. The toy that's, many grown-ups, mostly geeks, but many grown-ups play Lego. And it can be very creative. I tended to hate, with my kids, I tended to avoid, the finished Lego boxes. You buy a box that allows you to build this car, the Rolls Royce. That's not fun. We always had a big, canister of raw bricks, and then do something with that. That's really when you get the creative point. So, Lego, the invention was genius, doing a small brick that people can assemble in many ways. And you could ask, but what kind of feedback do they get from their users? And it's absolutely incredible. When I prepared this presentation, I asked out on Twitter, anyone has impressive examples of Lego? And there are some very impressive examples out there. If you have a look at legomatrix.com after the talk, so it's not distracted, these guys did a scene from the Matrix in Lego. And it's frame by frame the Matrix. Just a bit, they couldn't do the whole movie, but they did in a sizable. It's a scene with a slow down bullet, and they did that in Lego. It's incredible. Mr. Lego didn't imagine people would be doing that with Lego. I'm sure. Even when they did this guy, they didn't say, hey, this is the cop in Matrix. No, that's just a cop. So people have been very creative, and it helps you steer your product, make it better. The Brick Testament. This is incredible. I think it's a priest, some religious guy, who's doing scenes from the Bible in Lego, and he's, he's walking his way through the whole Bible, and you have these scenes that's Genesis, you know, the creation, the beginning. In the beginning, there was the garden and stuff. That's incredible feedback for a product maker. They say, okay, let's make our product even more flexible. South by Southwest, Lego pit, you put a bunch of geeks and Legos together in a pit and see what happens. And they've been creating some quite impressive things. So I think really to make your product better, again, it's about fast feedback. If you're driving a ship like that, you need to anticipate and get really good feedback on what's happening if you don't want to steer it in the forest that's just behind you. So I think it's really the feedback that makes a difference in, you know, applying your wild ideas to software and product creation. And I think, and I'm going to hopefully demonstrate it, that open source provides fast feedback with many eyeballs. You have many people looking at what you're doing and giving you feedback on whether it's good or not. The way we do it at the Apache Software Foundation is that there's a lot of real-time events when we do our software development. When you write software at Apache, you commit it to a central repository. This generates an event. It's basically a mail message, but it's an event that people can subscribe to. So when I write some software, maybe Robert will get a message within like 15 seconds, you know, the two so fast today. And he can look, if he's interested, he can look at it. Say, oh, Bertland did some work in the configurator module of that project. And I know he's not good at that, so I have a look. Or I know he's good, and I want to have a look to get an example from him. You know, so events about what you're doing. When you commit message, when you commit code in an open source, in a busy open source project, you might have 200 people who know that within 2 minutes. And if they're interested, they can take a look. The email discussions obviously are events. That's basic, you know, also something that propagates quickly. If you have a good subject line on your message, people can decide to read it or ignore it. So that's also skills that you have to learn for these events to be efficient. We're also using issue tracker. I don't know who's using issue trackers, who's familiar with that. Okay, so I explained for the others. Issue tracker basically is kind of a website where you can create one page for a problem that you have. Say you're using Mac OS X Pages software and there's a problem with publishing. If it was open source, you can go to the website, create a new page, says, you know, the printout is not correct, and then this issue gets a number, and you can track it, track the history of that issue, and you get events. When someone works on that issue, you can also get an event that informs you, and you can go back and give feedback. And we also have automated builds. We have kind of software robots doing compilation, building, testing of our software all the time, at night, anytime. And then you get an event that says the build failed, so the code you wrote, you cannot compile it, you cannot use it, and that's also feedback that if it comes fast, maybe you're still working on that module when you get the feedback. So we can fix it quickly instead of getting the information later when you're doing something else. So these real-time events make a big difference in the quality of the software that we are building, and also at the higher level in steering what we do and if that makes sense or not. I think this comes from a different presentation that I did, but I think it totally fits in this. Some of you already seen that. The way we work fosters a shared vision among the project members. Because we say, for example, every decision has to happen on the development mailing list, means everybody gets the same information. So this is a great way of building this shared vision. If you don't have this shared vision, everybody has a different picture of the project, different vision of where you're going, so it's very important to have that. We do that in our projects via mostly mailing lists, wikis, central places where you collect information, instead of having emails flowing around or Word documents flowing around. The information is in a central place where everyone can get it and get the same pictures. The way we work also provides us, as I said, with those real-time status updates. This week I'm at conferences the whole week. Next week I'm going back to my R&D team doing software development. I will not have to ask people what they did during the week. I will look at the issue trackers, I will look at the commit messages, and I will find out. If I need more details, I might go to a colleague and say, oh, what was this exactly, what did you do? But the basic information about the flow of things that happens is automated and real time, and you can go back and look at the archives. So this comes from those issue trackers. When someone does something, it writes an event to the tracker, the commit messages when I write software. So you have real-time status on information on your project. You don't have to wait and ask around. It comes all the time. Keeping up with this information is a skill that you need to learn. I'm getting, between the different projects that I'm active in, I'm getting maybe 200-300 messages a day from that kind, you know. So you have to sort them out. You don't want to read all of them, you have to filter them. People have to use sensible subject lines so you know if you want to read it or not, and so on. So it is automatic in a way. The basic things are automatic, but you also need to learn to cope with this fire hose of information. But we get these real-time status events. You can also do a real-time help request. An image that I like to use is when you're helping friends move. You know, you're a Saturday, you come to my place, we'll move to a different flat. Pretty much everybody can do anything in a moving job. Okay, maybe you have back problems, so you cannot carry heavy loads. Maybe you have two categories of people. Pretty much can do everything. The trick is keeping people busy. You know, if the owner of the flat is not here, you have no idea what to do. It doesn't work. You want to keep people busy all the time. And we do the same thing in our projects with these issue trackers. When you have a problem, you don't have to say, okay, who's doing that? That's Bob. So I have to wait until it's here and then ask him. That doesn't work. You just go to the tracker, you create an issue, say I have this problem, and when anyone looks at the tracker who knows how to do that, they can help. So you can do those real-time help requests, which also help get faster feedback on what the problem was and how it was solved, and so on. And last point, which is very important in the way we work in these projects, is the self-service archives. Like I said, when I go back to my day job on Monday, I can look at these archives and find out what happened during the week, which will also help me get faster feedback to my colleagues if I see something that I find that's wrong or that I don't understand. So these four things help us a lot in the efficient collaboration, fostering a common vision, having real-time status updates, real-time help requests, and self-service archives. It's basically, you could call it, it's all event-based collaboration. You get events anytime something happens, and then you decide to act on it or not, or ignore it if it's not interesting. And this is what fosters this fast feedback, this quick flow of information. The thing is, when you're doing open source, you're also collaborating with our users. I'm working Day Software, my company is a commercial company. We sell commercial software that you have to pay to use, but like 95% of our software is open source. And we have a top layer, the tip of the iceberg, that's proprietary because it's user interface. We cannot agree on that with the group. It might be uglier code, and there are several reasons. But we sell our software. The thing is, because most of our lower layers are open source, we find our users on those mailing lists. So we're not only collaborating with geeks, we're also collaborating with, also geeks, but our users. So it means we also get this feedback from our users much faster because we're collaborating with them. Another thing in open source that you get is collaboration with bright people. If you look, we have a few of them in the room already. If you look at the folks we have in the Apache Software Foundation, we have the inventor of REST, if you know what it's very important technology in the web space, who's also the author of the HTTP protocol. We are the people who created the Apache web server, which is used to power between 60 and 80% of the world's website.